Get this. AI is now predicting the outcomes of neuroscience experiments. Better than human neuroscientists.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of wild. To talk about AI anticipating scientific discoveries, like before they even happen.
Wow.
If you're as fascinated by these breakthroughs as I am, hit that subscribe button to keep up with all of our deep dives into the future of science.
It really is a remarkable development. And today we're going to explore a research study where scientists put large language models, those AIs trained on just tons of text, to the test to see if they could predict the results in neuroscience.
So how do you even go about testing something like that? It's not like they had a crystal ball filled with neuroscience papers, right?
Right. They needed a clever way to measure this predictive ability. So they created what's called BrainBench.
BrainBench.
Yeah, it's a benchmark.
Okay.
Using abstracts from the Journal of Neuroscience.
Okay.
Now, this is important because the Journal of Neuroscience is considered a leading publication in the field.
Right.
It's where groundbreaking discoveries are often published first.
Okay, so they're using top-tier research, but how does BrainBench actually work?
So they took these real abstracts and created two versions, one with the actual published result,
Okay.
and another where they tweaked the result to sound plausible but incorrect.
Oh.
So think of it like a spot the fake challenge, but for neuroscientists.
I get it. So it's not just about knowing facts. It's about having that scientific intuition to sniff out what's genuinely likely versus what just sounds right but isn't.
Exactly. And both AI models and human neuroscientists were given these pairs of abstracts and had to pick the real one.
That's such a clever design. It's testing actual scientific reasoning, not just regurgitating information.
Right.
So how'd they do? Did the AI rise to the challenge?
The results were pretty astounding.
Really?
Yeah, even relatively small AI models consistently outperformed human neuroscientists.
Wow.
We're talking an average accuracy of 81.4% for the AI,
Okay.
compared to 63.4% for human experts.
Wow. That is a significant difference. I mean, even the top 20% of human experts only hit 66.2% accuracy.
Right.
So it wasn't just a fluke. The AI genuinely seems to be better at predicting these outcomes. But wait, couldn't it just be that the AI had seen these papers before and memorized the results?
That's a valid concern, and to address it, the researchers used a technique called SLIB perplexity ratio to check for memorization.
SLIB perplexity ratio.
It basically compares how easily an AI understands text versus how easily a standard computer program can compress that same text.
Okay.
Think about packing a suitcase. If you've packed the same items before, it's a breeze.
Sure.
But if it's all new stuff, it takes more effort.
Right.
If the AI had memorized the text, it would be like packing that familiar suitcase.
So what did they find? Was the AI just cheating with a pre-packed suitcase of knowledge?
The results showed no evidence of memorization.
Wow.
It seems the AI was genuinely learning the underlying patterns of neuroscience, much like a human expert would, but on a much larger scale.
Okay, so the AI isn't just a parrot spitting back memorized facts.
Yeah.
It's actually learning and understanding the science. This is where it gets really interesting. But neuroscience is a vast field, right? We have everything from studies on individual cells to those looking at complex behaviors. Did they test how the AI performed in different subfields?
Absolutely. BrainBench included tests from 5 major areas of neuroscience.
Okay.
Behavioral cognitive, system circuits, neurobiology of disease, cellular, molecular, and developmental plasticity repair.
Okay.
And get this, the AI outperformed human experts in every single one.
Really?
This suggests that its predictive power isn't limited to a specific niche within neuroscience, but has broader applicability across the field.
That's incredible. So we're talking about AI that can read a research abstract and make a better prediction about the experiment's outcome than a seasoned neuroscientist, no matter what aspect of the brain they're studying.
Right.
This raises so many questions. Are we on the verge of AI scientists taking over labs? What does this mean for the future of research?
Those are excellent questions, and they're exactly what the researchers behind this study wanted to explore, but they didn't just stop at saying, look how good AI is. They actually took things a step further.
Hold on. Before you reveal the next chapter, I have to ask, how do we even begin to grasp what an 81.4% accuracy rate means in this context? Like, is that pretty good for AI, or is this mind-blowingly good?
It's mind-blowingly good.
Wow.
To put it in perspective, imagine a group of the world's top neuroscientists getting together, reading the same abstract, and trying to predict the outcome.
Right.
The odds of any one of them getting it right might be pretty good, but for a machine to consistently outperform the majority of them across various subfields, that's a seismic shift.
Okay, now I'm even more intrigued to hear what they did next. They weren't content with just demonstrating the AI's predictive power, right?
Right. They actually created what they call BrainGPT.
BrainGPT?
It's a large language model specifically fine-tuned for neuroscience.
BrainGPT, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
How did they create that? Did it take years of training and a massive budget?
It's surprisingly efficient.
Okay.
They used a technique called low-rank adaptation, or LoRa.
Instead of retraining the entire massive model from scratch, they adjusted a smaller set of parameters specifically related to neuroscience.
Okay.
It's like giving the AI a crash course on the brain.
So like giving it an intensive neuroscience textbook and saying, okay, now go ace this exam.
Exactly.
And what was the result of this crash course?
BrainGPT saw a 3% boost in accuracy on BrainBench.
Okay.
Bringing it up to a whopping 84.4%.
A 3% improvement on top of already superhuman accuracy.
Right.
That's wild. But how much can we really trust these AI predictions? Even the best scientists get things wrong sometimes. Did the researchers figure out a way to gauge how confident the AI was in its predictions? Like, could they tell if it was just making a lucky guess or if it was really onto something?
That's a crucial question, and the researchers were very thorough.
Okay.
It turns out the difference in how the AI processed the real abstract versus the altered one could be used as a measure of its confidence.
Okay.
And guess what? Just like with human experts, the AI was more accurate when it was more confident. So if BrainGPT gives you a prediction with a high degree of certainty, you can be more confident that it's on the right track.
That's reassuring. It would be unnerving to rely on these predictions without knowing how sure the AI was so calibrated. Confidence check. But this is just the beginning, right? Where do we go from here? What's next for BrainGPT and the idea AI predicting scientific discoveries?
Well, that's what we're going to dive into next. This research has opened up a world of possibilities, and there are some really exciting directions this could take. But first, let's take a moment to let all this sink in.
Yeah, it's a lot to process. We've gone from AI that can beat humans at chess to AI that can anticipate scientific breakthroughs. It's incredible, but it also makes you think, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does this mean for the future of science, for the role of human researchers?
Exactly, and that's precisely what we'll be exploring next. Makes you wonder about the possibilities, doesn't it? Like, if AI can already predict outcomes in neuroscience with such accuracy, where else could this technology be applied in science?
Right. It's like this isn't just about replacing scientists. It's about giving them a powerful new tool. It's almost like having an AI research partner working alongside you, helping you see things you might have missed.
Exactly, and that's one of the most exciting aspects of this research. It's not just about the AI's ability to predict results, it's about how this capability could fundamentally change the way science is done.
Okay, so let's dive into that. How could an AI like BrainGPT actually transform the scientific process?
So imagine this. You're a neuroscientist with a groundbreaking new hypothesis. You've designed an experiment, you're ready to go, but before you invest months, maybe even years of precious time and resources, you run your experimental design through BrainGPT.
So it's like having a superpowered peer reviewer on call 247, analyzing your work before you even start.
Exactly. BrainGPT compares your experiment to the vast body of knowledge it has and tells you how likely you are to get the results you're hoping for. It could help you identify potential pitfalls early on, saving you from chasing dead-end research paths.
That would be a game changer. Like, think of all the time and resources that could be saved, but it goes beyond just avoiding mistakes.
Absolutely. BrainGPT could also analyze the existing literature, pinpoint gaps in our knowledge, and even suggest entirely new research directions that scientists might not have considered. It's like having an AI research assistant constantly scanning the horizon, pointing out promising new avenues to explore.
That's mind-blowing. It's almost like having a co-author who has read every neuroscience paper ever published.
And because we've seen that the AI is more accurate when it's more confident, researchers could prioritize questions where BrainGPT shows a high degree of certainty.
Okay.
This means we could see a shift toward research that is more likely to yield meaningful results.
So instead of chasing after shaky hypotheses, we could focus on the areas where we're most likely to make real progress. But I have to ask, wouldn't there be a risk of scientists becoming overly reliant on these AI predictions? Like, what happens to human intuition and creativity in science?
That's a valid concern, and it's important to remember that AI should be a guide, not a dictator. Scientists need to maintain their critical thinking skills, their ability to question assumptions, and their willingness to pursue unconventional ideas, even if BrainGPT isn't on board. It's all about finding the right balance, using AI to enhance our abilities, not replace them.
I like that analogy of a guide. It's like having a GPS that can show you the most efficient route.
Right.
But you still have the freedom to take a detour and explore the scenic route if you choose.
Exactly. And speaking of exploring new territory, this research also hints at a fascinating new field, metascience.
Metascience. Now, that sounds intriguing. What is that?
It's the study of science itself.
Okay.
Because BrainGPT has access to the entire history of neuroscience publications, it can analyze how different subfields have evolved, how ideas have spread, how influential different journals have been. It could even help us determine whether a journal's impact factor, that metric we often use to judge the importance of a publication, actually reflects its true contribution to the field.
Wow, that's like using AI to hold a mirror up to science, to see if our methods and assumptions about what constitutes good science are actually valid. We can learn a lot from that.
Absolutely. BrainGPT could help us identify biases in scientific publishing, reveal hidden connections between seemingly unrelated research areas, and even challenge long-held beliefs about how scientific knowledge is generated and shared.
It's like having an AI archaeologist digging through the layers of scientific history, unearthing hidden patterns and connections that we might have missed.
It's an incredibly powerful tool, and not just for individual scientists, but for the entire scientific community.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where BrainGPT could help us filter out the noise and focus on the research that has truly pushed the boundaries of knowledge.
It would be a game changer for any researcher wading through a mountain of papers trying to find those truly significant studies. Yeah. This all sounds incredibly promising, but I know no study is perfect. So what are some of the limitations of this research that we should keep in mind?
You're right. It's important to acknowledge the limitations first. It's essential to remember that BrainBench is just one benchmark, focused specifically on neuroscience. We don't yet know how well this approach would generalize to other scientific fields.
That makes sense. And even within neuroscience, BrainBench only tested a particular kind of prediction.
Right.
Like the AI had two choices and had to pick the correct one. It's a bit more simplified than the real world of scientific discovery, where researchers are often grappling with much more ambiguity.
Exactly. It's like the difference between a multiple choice test and an essay question.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of work to do to develop AI models that can handle the full complexity of scientific reasoning and prediction in those less structured scenarios. This is just a first step, but a very promising one nonetheless.
I agree. It feels like we've opened a door to a whole new world of possibilities. So for our listeners who have been following this incredible journey with us, what are the key takeaways from this deep dive?
First, AI models are now capable of predicting neuroscience results with an accuracy that surpasses human experts, and this capability extends across a variety of subfields within neuroscience.
Second, the researchers were very careful to address the concern that the AI might just be memorizing data. Their analysis suggests that these models are genuinely learning the underlying patterns of the field, just like human scientists do, but on a much grander scale.
Third, these AI models can be further specialized for specific domains as demonstrated by the creation of BrainGPT, which led to a significant boost in the accuracy of its predictions.
And finally, this research highlights the immense potential for AI to transform scientific discovery. We're talking about accelerating research, suggesting new directions, and even providing us with new tools to understand how science itself works.
But as we move forward, it's crucial to remember that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it needs to be used responsibly. We need to keep having open discussions about the role of human creativity and critical thinking in science, and remember that AI should enhance our abilities, not replace them.
Well said. It's an incredibly exciting time to be following the intersection of AI and science. Who knows what groundbreaking discoveries await us as we continue to explore this new frontier?
The possibilities seem endless. Yeah, it really does feel like we're on the cusp of a new era in science.
It's like that moment when the first telescopes were invented, or like the first microscopes, you know? Suddenly we have this new way of seeing the world, this new way of understanding how things work.
And just like those earlier scientific instruments, AI has the potential to just revolutionize our understanding of the universe, from the smallest particles to the largest structures in the cosmos.
But it's not just about the tools themselves, right? It's about how we use them.
Exactly. We need to approach AI with a sense of curiosity, but also with caution. We need to think carefully about the ethical implications, the potential biases, and ensure that human ingenuity remains at the heart of scientific discovery.
Yeah, it's a partnership, not a replacement.
Precisely. And the exciting thing is we're just getting started. The research we've been discussing today is cutting edge, and there's so much more to explore.
Speaking of exploring, I understand that the researchers behind BrainBench have made all their data and code publicly available.
That's right. They've adopted an open source approach, which is fantastic for the scientific community.
Yeah, it means other scientists can build upon their work, test their findings, refine the benchmark, and even develop new AI models tailored to other scientific disciplines.
It's a collaborative effort, and it really highlights the power of open science.
It also allows for greater transparency, which is crucial when we're dealing with something as powerful as AI.
Absolutely. We need to have those open and honest conversations about the potential benefits and challenges of AI in science and ensure that its development and application are guided by ethical principles.
This has been an incredible deep dive, and it leaves me feeling both excited and a bit humbled by the possibilities.
Yeah, it's a reminder that we live in an age of extraordinary scientific breakthroughs, and AI is playing an increasingly vital role in shaping our understanding of the world.
So to our listeners out there, stay curious, keep asking questions, and remember that the future of science is a story that we are all writing together.
Until next time, keep exploring.
And keep diving deep.